Hello and welcome to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez, your host. Ladies and gentlemen watching at home, we have a great show for you today. Today is actually the free show, and my friend Yoel over here is going to tell us a little bit more about that. But before we do, we want to introduce our attorneys today. And first up, we have Frank Hara.
Hi, thank you. Franklin Hara. We'll be talking about labor and employment law today. Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, we have one of our partners here, Javier Rodriguez.
Thanks, Jackie. Pleasure to be here. We'll be talking about workers' comp today.
And of course, Yoel Damas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, the number on the screen is 888-88-LEGAL, and that's the number that you want to call for your free consultation. The call is free, absolutely free. And Yoel, can you tell us a little bit more about the free show today?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about a few topics today. One of them is workers' compensation. The other one is labor law. And the third one, and the labor law portion that we're specifically speaking about, or employment law, different people call it different things, is really related to overtime matters and classifications of employees and things along those lines. And the third thing, which usually our partner Jennifer Pratt is on here discussing, personal injury. I'm stepping in for her today, and we'll be going over some of the personal injury nuances as well. So why is it free, right?
Why is it free? Why is this the free show?
Right. So the reason why this is the free show is in this type of program, basically, when we decide to take you on as a client, you pay us nothing up front. We only get paid if you get paid. And that's the only way we get paid. We cover your cost. We cover everything up front. And that is related to every single area of law that we will discuss on this program today. So from now on, if you're watching us on the internet, YouTube, Facebook, make sure you share this program. Make sure you put it on your social media platform, and make sure you let as many people know about the advantages of what we will be discussing today. Very important.
Excellent. Okay, well, so that number again is 888-88-LEGAL, and that's the number that for a free consultation, absolutely free.
Free consultation. If they want to join the program, they want to ask questions now or get in touch with us as we speak. We are live.
Right.
Go ahead and call 888-88-LEGAL. That's simple. That's right. I'm going to go first with Attorney Hara. Attorney Hara, going over some, first of all, what kind of law specifically do you practice? Just a quick overview before I go into some real questions.
Well, without getting into too much detail, basically, I like to classify it as wage and hour law. And basically, what does that mean? That means, are you getting paid a minimum wage? Are you getting paid overtime for any hours that you work over 40? These are the types of laws that that I practice in. Are they classifying you correctly? Are they saying you're a manager, but you really don't have managerial duties? So these are the types of issues that I mostly delve into in the practice areas that, I'm involved in.
So we'll dive into, for example, let's start with classification.
Sure.
What do you mean by classification?
Well, what happens a lot of times that I've seen happen a lot is that an employer will go ahead and say to an employee, hey, you know what, you're a manager now. You're going to be assistant manager or whatever the case may be, but with the promotion, there's no overtime.
Wait. So when you become a manager, it's usually a good thing, right? You're happy and you're like, wow, thank you, employer. You're saying it's a way for certain employees to abuse the system,
It is. Basically, sometimes it's a way to make the employee work more and actually get paid less. Because what happens? For you to truly be classified as a manager, you have to meet certain criteria. You need to be able to hire, fire, make ultimate decisions, set schedule, rate of pay. And most of the times these managers are just doing the regular work that your rank and file employees are doing, but now they're a manager, they're exempt from overtime, and the law says, hey, wait a minute, just because you label someone a 1099 or a manager, that doesn't necessarily mean that's actually what they should be classified as or compensated at.
Okay, so our listeners and our viewers really get this down. If you are classified as a manager, you need to be able to act as a manager. If not, technically you're not, and then the employer is still subject to the overtime and other matters, right?
Absolutely correct. Just because you're labeled a manager or a 1099 employee doesn't necessarily mean you're actually one. There's some criteria you have to meet, like I described, certain responsibilities that come attached with a position such as a manager, and if you don't meet those criteria, you may qualify for overtime and additional income.
That's Right. So if someone's calling me a manager, I better be able to hire and fire and do all those responsibilities.
Well, there are many criteria, it's not just limited to hiring and firing. There's a lot of things you look into. But yeah, you basically got to look at things like what kind of level of responsibility are you really having?
Okay.
And some of those things, like you said, are hiring, firing, setting schedules, pay rates, those sort of things.
Okay, great.
We have very little time left right before the first break. This thing flies. But Attorney Rodriguez, speaking about managers and workers' compensation, again, briefly, I know you're on with us pretty much every week, and people have seen you and understand kind of what workers' comp is, but so it's a two-sided question. What is workers' comp? Who could benefit from it? And could managers benefit from it specifically?
Yeah, managers, absolutely. Employees, workers' comp is very, very basic. And there's two things that the employer has to provide once you have an accident. And that accident can be your fault. It doesn't matter if you were at fault. If you actually caused the accident, you're still entitled to workers' compensation benefits. The employer, the workers' comp carrier, has to pay for all of your medical benefits. That means your hospital stays, the clinics, the MRIs, the therapies, the diagnostic tests, medications. They even have to provide transportation. So if you can't get to your appointment or you don't want to drive to your appointment, they got to pick you up and take you there. And aside from the medical care, they got to pay for your wages. So you're at home, you can't work because of this injury, they have to send you a check every single week to your house. Those monies are tax-free, and that's money that belongs to you because of the accident.
Now, Attorney Rodriguez, specific to managers and maybe even small business owners, if they're covered by their workers' comp policy, are they able to put a claim as well? I mean, specifically to the boss. I mean, if the boss gets injured, shouldn't he have known better?
It doesn't matter. I mean, if the boss got injured, he's covered by workers' comp, just like the janitor's covered from workers' comp. So A to Z, the standard is, does the employer have 4 or more employees? So if you're working at a company and there's 4 or more employees, they are obligated, they are mandated by the state of Florida to have workers' comp insurance coverage.
Thank you, Attorney Rodriguez. Ladies and gentlemen, that number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. The consultation's free. The call is free, and we're going to be right back. We have to take a short break.
We got to take a short break, Jackie, but we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot more questions to go.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back to PraDa Law Live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jackie Mendez. Once again, we have been talking about labor laws and workman's comp, and we're going to get into some personal injury as well. Yep. And before we do that, just want to remind you, the show's live. Give us a call. We're ready to take any of your questions. 888-88-LEGAL. The call's free. Consultation's free. The show is free. It's a free show.
That's right, Jackie. And again, so we're clear with our clients what we mean, or any viewer out there. When we talk about free, we mean if we take on your case, we only get paid when you get paid. And if you don't get paid, we don't get paid, and we absorb all the costs. During the last segment, we went straight into what is it you called it, Frank? Wage and hourly law?
Wage and hour law.
Wage and hour law. And we went into workers' compensation. We didn't talk about PI. And PI means personal injury. Basically, if you've been hurt, if you've been bit by a dog, if you've had any type of maybe negligent security issue where you were a victim of a crime in your in a shopping center or where you work, if you've been in any type of car accident, again, who usually handles these matters is Attorney Pratt. So I will keep it nice and simple for you. If you've been hurt, if you've been in an accident, call us. We might be able to get you some cash, some dinero, some moolah,
That's right.
whatever you want to call it. Going back to Attorney Hara first. Attorney Hara, salespeople tend to work, and they work, sometimes 40, 50, 60, 70 hours. And at the end of the day, they might go home without a check, all right? And I guess most employers do this every day, and salespeople deal with this every day, and they don't get paid. Where does the law stand with a situation like that?
That's a very, very good question. It's very interesting. It's one of those areas of the law where a lot of people get confused because you start talking about commissions. Do I get paid straight time? Well, how does that all work? So I understand where there's some confusion. And basically, just to give you a general idea, if your wages are connected to a commission of some sort, those commissions on any given pay period must meet or exceed Florida's minimum wage. So what does that mean? That means if you didn't make a sale that week and you're not getting any commission, you still need to get some sort of payment for that week, be it a draw, a commission structure where if you don't make a sale, you need to get paid at least a minimum salary. Now, every case is different, obviously, and you have to look at the commission structure. There are cases like, let's say, a Macy's salesperson. They may just be limited to their wage and hours because they may not be getting a commission, or it may work something different. But when the bulk of your income, of your paycheck, is coming from commissions or percentage of sales, your minimum, you have to meet or exceed minimum wage any given pay period.
Attorney Hara, again, just to keep it simple for our viewers, if they worked 40 hours, they must get a check that week or bi-weekly or whatever that pay structure is of minimum wage times those hours, regardless if they sold anything, period, correct?
That is correct. Typically, some situations, what happens if you don't make your sales that week, you'll still get paid a minimum wage check, and then the next week, some employers will deduct what was advanced, things like that, but you still must receive a check at the end of the week that meets or exceeds minimum wage.
So like if I'm a car salesman and I didn't make one sale the whole month.
You worked all month, you didn't make a single dime, you should have at least made minimum wage for all the hours worked.
Okay.
Now, there's some exceptions to salespeople and overtime. Every case is different, so give us a call to find out how you fall into it. But it's something you definitely need someone to look at, someone that understands the law, so you yourself get the maximum advantage of your hard work. This is your hard work that you've earned. And the law specifies certain damages. You may get double damages, you're entitled to attorney's fees. You worked for it, you should get it, you earned it, you deserve it.
So not only would you be entitled to what they owed you and they didn't pay you, but in certain circumstances, and every case is different, you might be able to get double and more.
Potentially. Potentially, yes. There is a
Attorney
provision.
Hara's being cautious.
Potentially, there's a provision for what is called liquidated damages, and typically what that means is you can get double the recovery of whatever was owed to you in wages, plus attorney's fees.
Yeah, and definitely let's see if, they fall into that criteria, and by doing that, calling the number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL, we'll be able to direct you and let you know how to help.
This is one of those things that's very common. A lot of these employers out there, car salesmen, these types of structures, they usually set these up and they don't always follow the proper protocols.
Now this segment is almost done. We have a few seconds right before. I couldn't even get to Attorney Rodriguez or even speak about car accidents or personal injury. But when we come back, I'll start with the first question, Attorney Rodriguez, so you can be ready for it. A lot of these people that work on commission, sometimes is their second, even third jobs, right? And you know, a lot of them have these multiple jobs. The question is, are they able to file workers' comp claims in this kind of situation? And more importantly, if they file workers' comp claims, are they able to get paid for all jobs? And I can't have you answer that yet because we gotta go to a brief commercial. But as soon as we come back, I'd like the answer to that and spend a little bit more time. We'll be right back.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back to PraDa Law Live. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jackie, and we've been covering mostly labor laws for the last couple segments, but we definitely want to get right into asking Attorney Rodriguez some workman's comp questions. But I just want to remind everyone that this show is live. You can call in at any time, ask us some questions. We're here. We're ready to take your calls. We're ready to find solutions. It's 888-88-LEGAL. Calls free, consultations free. Ain't that right, Yoel?
That's right. Thank you, Jackie. And during the last segment, I'll recap just in case you weren't tuned in. I asked Attorney Rodriguez, we were discussing with Attorney Hara about commission salespeople and if they are subject to the minimum wage laws. And if you missed that, the answer is most likely yes. So that's why you need to dial that number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. But talking about commission salespeople, a lot of them have multiple jobs. And the question for Attorney Rodriguez is, if you have multiple jobs and you get hurt in one of those jobs, are you owed money just for what you made at that one job, or are you owed the benefits for all the jobs combined, even though you were only hurt in one?
That's a great question, and a lot of people don't know the answer to it. The answer is yes. So if you get hurt at your primary job and you're getting workers' comp checks from that job, and you also have a weekend job, whether it's selling cars, driving an Uber, being delivery, they have to compute your checks not only in the job where you got hurt, but also on that second job. So a lot of adjusters for these insurance companies are going to do the bare minimum. And to their credit, they have a lot of cases. You're just a number to them. So it's important for you to hire an attorney that understands the law, can apply the facts of your case, and tell you exactly what you're entitled to. So if you're making monies working at Target and you also have that second job, your injury at Target entitles you to money from Target, also added with the other job, your second, your third job. So it makes a big difference, and that's money out there that we need to get and put in your pocket.
Now, Attorney Rodriguez, when it comes to the calculation of these hours, right? If I understand the law correctly, and you have over 20 years doing this, so I mean, you would be able to answer this question. If I understand it correctly, these adjusters, these insurance companies need to get these wages correct. And I'm assuming when you start adding multiple jobs and maybe even commissions or bonuses into all these payment structures, it gets complicated. And the truth is that most of these adjusters, or maybe not most, but some, I guess you would be able to answer it, make errors. And the truth is that clients or viewers are maybe owed a lot more money, right?
That's right. That's right. I mean, it takes time for them to contact the employer, get all of the payroll records, see what you made for the 13 weeks prior to your accident, find out if you had that second job, that third job, contact those employers. So there's a lot that goes into it. And that's why it's important for you to hire an attorney. It's very simple. You can call the number 888-88-LEGAL. We can sit down with you, go through those records. And the best part of it, like Joel said, it's free. We don't get paid unless we get paid and settle your case and put money in your pocket.
Now, it's very simple. And again, in this program, and again, we reiterated just in case you just tuned in, this program, the areas of law that we're discussing, basically, if we take on your case, it is, you pay nothing up front. We only get paid when you get paid, and we absorb even the cost. So there's nothing for you to lose to come in and literally just evaluate your case. Was that was that injury at work, or maybe it wasn't at work, but you still may or may not qualify for some other type of compensation. By the way, when we're looking at all these records, we might find violations of that they didn't pay you overtime, or they didn't pay you the adequate minimum wage. There's a lot of ways to look at these cases, and you really lose nothing by coming in and just getting that free consultation, right, Jackie?
Yeah, definitely. 888-88-LEGAL. Call us. Call's free. Consultation's free. We're ready. We want to help you figure all these things out.
Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about people working from home. And I know we've talked about this in other shows, but I'd like to take, and again, we probably have maybe 2 minutes left, so it'd be quick for each of you, but just bluntly, Attorney Rodriguez, if you're hurt at home, but you were on the clock, are you able to receive workers' compensation benefits? Attorney Hara, if you're at home, how do you really determine whether you should be getting paid or not? And are the records that the employers, that they should be keeping, whose really requisite is that? Attorney Rodriguez, I'll go with you first.
Yeah, absolutely. Due to this pandemic, a lot of people don't go to a traditional office anymore. They're working from home. Their employers having them set up a home office. So while you're doing that, if you have an injury at home and you're on the clock and you're working, that is a workers' comp accident. You're entitled to workers' comp benefits. Again, they have to pay for all your medical care. They got to send you checks every week while you're at work. And we didn't talk too much about it, but we can also settle these cases. And these adjusters, these insurance companies are never going to talk to you about settling your case. You can settle your case, get a lump sum of money to take care of you for the future because of your accident. In order to analyze that, you need to hire an attorney. These insurance companies, they have attorneys on their side. They know how to analyze the case to pay as little as possible. You need an attorney on your side to get them to pay as much as possible. So again, if you're hurt at work, if you're hurt at home, you have benefits, you have rights.
Attorney Rodriguez, simple. They have an attorney on their side, you should have one on yours. You don't have to pay one dime unless we get compensation for you. Attorney Hara, again, briefly, how now that people are working at home, is it the duty of the employer to have to calculate these hours or know what you worked?
Yes, the simple answer is yes. And the simple answer is if you worked, whether it's at home, during your office hours, after office hours, if you worked and that provided a benefit to your employer, you're entitled to get paid. Now, your question, yes, it is up to the employer to make sure that your employee is working the required times, but if they're not keeping track, if they're taking advantage of the work you're doing after hours, you're entitled to pay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show's gone so fast that production is saying we have a few seconds to go, and I almost had to cut off Attorney Hara. Make sure you call us. It's that simple. It's 888-88-LEGAL. You have nothing to lose. If you're watching us on the net, share this program. And if not, we'll see you again next Thursday discussing labor issues, wage issues, and workers' compensation. We'll see you again tomorrow.